In this video, we'll cover what hypnosis is versus what it is not. To start off, there's no magic or voodoo to hypnosis. Simply put, it's an altered state of awareness, a natural state that you experience multiple times a day. It's that place between awake and asleep, the no man's land where you're not quite in either place. Every night, when you fall asleep, you pass through that state. And then again, when you wake up in the morning, you'll pass through it again as you're waking up. Light trance often occurs spontaneously and on a fairly regular basis. For example, have you ever been driving somewhere that you drive on a regular basis, maybe going to work in the morning, and you suddenly realize that you don't remember the last set of traffic lights? Your conscious mind was off somewhere daydreaming, while your subconscious mind was keeping you safe and doing the driving for you. You were on autopilot. Or perhaps you've been reading a book or watching a movie, and you're so focused on the storyline that you don't hear when somebody in the room is speaking to you. This happens with kids a lot. These are a couple examples of what we would call waking hypnosis. Your eyes are open, and it's a very light state of trance. Now, there are different levels of trance, or depths, if you will. Light trance would be closer to the waking state, whereas deep trance is closer to the sleep state. Once you've entered a hypnotic trance, you may discover that you fluctuate between lighter and deeper levels of hypnosis. Fluctuation is very normal. When a person is in a deep trance, they are very close to the sleep state. Their dream center is very much activated. In your dreams, the conscious, logical part of your mind is at rest. And if you ever remember your dreams, they usually don't make any sense. The walls dissolve, you can fly, and now you've got a sword in your hand and you don't question your ability to fly or your ninja-like sword skills. You just fly around Swordland like it's the most natural thing to do. Often, when people are in a deep trance, because you are so close to the sleep state, it can feel for all the world as if you were actually asleep, but you're not. Now let's think about stage hypnosis for a moment. You know, the whole bark like a dog and cluck like a chicken type of entertainment hypnosis. Deep trance is a 100% requirement with stage hypnosis because you're being asked to do those silly, illogical things, and so your logical mind needs to be suspended for the time being. This is the only time when Flying Swordland is officially required. In the world of therapy, however, you're not being asked to do silly, illogical things. Therefore, depth of trance isn't quite as important. Light trance can be very effective for positive change. In a first session, it's pretty common for clients to stay in a lighter state. They don't necessarily allow themselves to enter into a deeper level of trance just because it's still the unknown and there might still be a little bit of anxiety around hypnosis. However, after their first session, where they experience hypnosis the first time, they then discover that they actually enjoy it. And then in subsequent sessions, they tend to allow themselves to go quicker and deeper into hypnosis every single time. It's also worth noting, your desire for positive change is far more important than the actual depth of trance that you enter. This is why it is so important that you are seeking this help for yourself and not because someone else is making you do it. A few things you need to know. First and foremost, you are in control of yourself at all times. Contrary to what you will see in the movies and on stage, you can't be forced into hypnosis against your will, nor can you be forced to stay in hypnosis. You could at any moment choose to open up your eyes and come out of trance. Also, a hypnotherapist can't sneak any suggestions in or make you do anything you don't want to do. If you're not on board with a suggestion, your mind will refuse it. Even the volunteers on stage have the ability to say no at any given moment. But they volunteered to be on stage. They knew exactly what they were signing up for. Hypnosis isn't a truth serum. Your secrets can and will remain with you should you decide to keep them. And you probably won't be sleeping, even though deep trance can feel for all the world like sleep. You can still think for yourself. You won't be in a coma state or become a zombie-like puppet. And you can still speak if need be. Also, you can move. And I tell you this because your job is going to be to kick back and relax. If you aren't comfortable, you can't relax. So, If you need to adjust your position, scratch an itch, or cough, by all means, feel free to do so. You won't ruin a thing. People on stage are jumping around like crazy, and they're still in hypnosis. And lastly, you can still hear. With that being said, you may not be actively listening the whole time. About 60 to 70% of people discover that their conscious mind begins to wander at times. Usually it happens when a person is drifting into deeper levels of hypnosis. But it's all fine. One of the primary jobs of the subconscious mind is to keep you safe. Because of this, it's always listening. So if you find that you've drifted away at times, it is completely fine and normal. Your subconscious mind is still listening and taking everything in. This is also true if you happen to drift off into a light sleep. Your subconscious mind still hears everything. So if you find yourself drifting away at times and coming back, not to worry, it's completely normal and you haven't ruined anything. So what does hypnosis feel like? Well, you go into what I call a state of body sleep, but you're not actually sleeping. Your heart rate, your breathing, and your blood pressure, they all slow down to a resting rate similar to that of sleep. Many people describe that their arms and legs feel super heavy, whereas others describe it as a light, floaty, out-of-body experience. Now, some people, myself included, have the sensation that the hands have become giant, heavy things at the end of my arms that I couldn't possibly move because they're so heavy. Some people notice that their fingers or toes get tingly, and then there's the mind wandering that we mentioned earlier. Now, some people, and I wish I was one of them because it sounds so cool, discover that behind their closed eyelids, they see swirling colors like blues and greens or reds and oranges. Eyelid fluttering is common as well. Now, when people are in hypnosis, they often experience the rapid eye movement state, also known as the REM state. The REM state is an active period of sleep marked by intense brain activity. This is also when most of your dreams occur, but in this instance, you're not actually sleeping. So these are most of the common signs and feelings of hypnosis. I can't say specifically which ones you will feel, but I can assure you that you will enjoy it. Afterwards, most people describe it feeling as though they've had a lovely, restful nap. We look forward to seeing you at your first session. If you've got any further questions about the process, please don't hesitate to ask your therapist.